Some residents have been evacuated. Here, details of a new tax-free savings scheme will be announced by the Chancellor, Gordon Brown, today. The individual savings account, the offspring of Tessa and Peps, is the cornerstone of his plans to revolutionise savings. It's intended to encourage people on low incomes to save more. The Christmas anti-drink driving campaign, launched this morning, urges motorists to have none for the road. Former motor racing world champion Damon Hill helped start the campaign, which features a new television commercial aimed at young drivers. It shows a group of young people wrongly believing that they can stay in control of cars after drinking. That's it for now. There's more from the newsroom at midday.
And now the headlines in the southeast. A man's in hospital with severe burns after an explosion on a riverboat in London. Fire crews were called to the boat moored on the River Lee in Tottenham just after 8:30 this morning. It's believed a gas cylinder caused the explosion. The Education Secretary, David Blunkett, is to help choose Hackney's new Director of Education. The government told MPs it didn't have confidence in the borough's councillors to do the job themselves. An improvement team has already been sent into Hackney after inspectors severely criticised the Education Authority. A campaign's being launched in the southeast to increase blood supplies during the winter months. Stocks can fall by up to 30% at this time of year because of public holidays and illness. The National Blood Service hopes to attract new donors and remind current ones. St Paul's Cathedral celebrates its 300th anniversary today. Final preparations are underway for a special service tomorrow to be attended by the Queen, Prince Philip and the Prince of Wales. Sir Christopher Wren's building opened in 1697 after the previous Gothic structure was destroyed in the Great Fire of London. That's it. We're back in an hour's time. Now let's catch up with the weather with David Lee.
Good morning. A wintry scene across many parts of the country with frost and sleet and snow. The radar picks up.
Good afternoon. The Foreign Secretary, Robin Cook, says the government will contribute £1 million to the international fund it's setting up to compensate victims of the Holocaust. Mr. Cook was speaking at the start of a three-day conference in London to discuss what should be done with gold reserves looted by the Nazis during the Second World War.
Representatives of the 42 countries taking part arrived to start 3 days of sensitive and painful discussion. Few can claim an entirely unblemished record where Nazi gold is concerned, but the mood is at least one of progress.
We must be open. The subject is not an easy one. It requires that we shine a light in corners that have stayed dark too long. But honesty and openness is the bare minimum we all owe. They must be the foundations of our discussion.
The Foreign Secretary's announcement that Britain is setting the agenda by establishing an international fund to return stolen gold has been warmly welcomed by campaigners. Switzerland has also announced a reparation fund after admitting its banks handled 3/4 of Nazi Germany's stolen gold. Every day, survivors of the Holocaust get fewer, though, as the old and sick die without claiming back their property.
A new scheme aimed at encouraging poorer people to save more has been launched by the Chancellor, Gordon Brown. The individual savings account, which is tax-free, will replace existing schemes and may operate through supermarkets with customers allowed to make deposits at checkouts. At least 61 coal miners have been killed in a methane gas explosion in western Siberia. Russian officials say that 6 miners are still missing. 4 survivors have been brought to the surface. The explosion tore through a section of the mine 300 metres below ground. Earl Spencer and his wife Victoria will return to the High Court in Cape Town tomorrow for their divorce settlement to be formalised. A statement reached after several hours' negotiation said both recognised they'd contributed to the breakdown of their marriage and a financial agreement had been made allowing the divorce to proceed. Here, the new Christmas anti-drink driving campaign calls on motorists to have none for the road. The campaign features a television commercial aimed at young drivers. It shows a group of them wrongly believing they can stay in control of their cars after drinking alcohol. The former wrestling star, Big Daddy, has died at the age of 60. He'd suffered a stroke 2 months ago. A former miner, Big Daddy's real name was Shirley Crabtree. His popularity reached a peak in the 60s when millions of television viewers enjoyed his ring persona, that of a Mr. Nice Guy defeating a string of Mr. Nasties. That's it for now. More from the newsroom at 1 o'clock.
And other headlines in the southeast. A man's in hospital with severe burns after an explosion on a riverboat in London. Fire crews were called to the boat moored on the River Lee in Tottenham just after 8:30 this morning. It's believed a gas cylinder caused the explosion. The Education Secretary, David Blunkett, is to help choose Hackney's new Director of Education. The government told MPs it didn't have confidence in the borough's councillors to do the job themselves. An improvement team has already been sent into Hackney after inspectors severely criticised the Education Authority. A campaign's being launched in the southeast to increase blood supplies during the winter months. Stocks can fall by up to 30% at this time of year because of public holidays and illness. The National Blood Service hopes to attract new donors and remind current ones. St Paul's Cathedral celebrates its 300th anniversary today. Final preparations are underway for a special service tomorrow to be attended by the Queen, Prince Philip and the Prince of Wales. Sir Christopher Wren's building opened in 1697 after the previous Gothic structure was destroyed in the Great Fire of London. That's it, we're back at 1:30. Now here's the weather with David Lee.
Good afternoon. Time to look at the weather over Europe. We've got some wintry weather, and there's wintry weather under this area of cloud in the north. But this area of cloud in the south has been sweeping heavy rain across the Aegean into western parts of Turkey. Here's some totals here, 106 millimetres in the past 24 hours. That's coming from this large area of low pressure, which is still going to dominate that eastern part of the Mediterranean over the next couple of days. But a ridge of high pressure coming into the west here means some drier weather and some brighter weather across many parts of France and Portugal. Further snowfall coming across those eastern areas from that large weather system. Of course, it's not always large weather systems that produce a lot of weather. We have a small one across the British Isles, and this one's moving southwards here through Wales, giving some sleet and some pretty heavy snowfall on the higher ground inland. So the radar shows that very clearly, pushing its way further and further south. So we do have a warning for the next couple of hours for heavy snowfall over the hills of South Wales until about perhaps 2 or 3 o'clock. For the rest of the United Kingdom, well, dry, sunny weather across central areas. Still some further rain, sleet and some snow in the southeast, but that's now starting to peter out. And we have a lot of snow showers near these eastern coasts. At least over Northern Ireland and Western Scotland, it is now turning brighter. Overnight, the showers are going to continue near those east coasts, but further west, it'll be drier and clearer, and those clear skies and fairly light winds means a widespread frost. Temperatures could be as low as -5 degrees. Then we go to the next day or so across the British Isles. Most of the showers in the east, just 1 or 2 in the west.
This week in Holiday Reps.
From the studios of ITN, the news with Nicholas Owen and Julia Somerville.
Hello, welcome to the programme.
The headlines so far today: going to the supermarket for new savings schemes, but government plans have a shock for the better off. Earl Spencer's